All right, gearing up for a refrigeration, air condition, and heat pump technician interview. Huh. Talk about a cool career path.
Definitely a hot field right
I
now.
couldn't resist, sorry.
No worries.
But seriously, this field is booming, and we're diving deep into RoleCatcher's resources to help you nail that interview.
Think of us as your interview prep team, ready for those tricky questions.
To give you an edge.
Exactly. What's really interesting about this role is that it combines technical skills with hands-on problem solving.
You're not just fixing things, right?
No, you're understanding complex systems, making sure they operate efficiently.
And it's not just keeping people comfortable.
It's about those systems being environmentally friendly, too.
We're talking electrical, electrotechnical, A&D electronic components. Sounds complex.
It can be, but that's what makes it interesting. You're working with everything, from the power supply to the control systems, making sure it all runs smoothly, efficiently.
And RoleCatcher's career guide points out there's a real emphasis on energy efficiency and sustainability. So you're not just a technician, you're kind of an environmental superhero.
I like that.
But let's get down to business with some sample interview questions from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide. Describe your experience with refrigeration systems. Seems straightforward, but how do you make your answer stand out?
Well, you want to think beyond just listing your past jobs, right?
Yeah.
Instead, try to paint a picture of your journey in this field. Highlight your education, relevant training, and showcase your hands-on experience.
Even if it was assisting a senior technician.
Even then, every bit counts. And focus on those experiences where you got to work with those electrical, electrotechnical, and electronic components we talked about.
Oh, okay. Because that's what sets this role apart.
That's what they really want to hear about.
Great tip. What about follow-up question? What if they ask, what's the most complex refrigeration system you've worked on?
Choose a compelling example that really shows off your problem-solving skills and technical knowledge.
So maybe it was a system with multiple interconnected components.
Yeah, or one that really required you to think outside the box to figure out a tricky issue.
Not just about the size, but the complexity.
Exactly. Okay, moving on to question number 2. How do you diagnose and troubleshoot issues with refrigeration systems? This one feels more technical.
It is. How do we answer that?
Well, this is where you can really show off your expertise. Walk them through your process, like a mental checklist you go through.
I like that.
Talk about the tools you use,
Pressure gauge.
multimeter, anything like that. Explain how you pinpoint the problem step by step, and then how you fix it, emphasizing your knowledge.
So be specific. Show I know my stuff. What if they ask for a real-world example? Like, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a particularly challenging refrigeration issue.
The classic behavioral question. Now storytelling comes in. Choose a situation that shows your ability to think critically, overcome obstacles.
Like a faulty compressor, refrigerant leak.
Could be. Or a tricky electrical problem. Think about a time you were really tested.
And highlight the outcome.
Right. Did you successfully repair it? What did you learn? Did you go above and beyond for a customer?
Okay. It's important to have good stories ready. On to question 3. How do you stay up to date with the latest technologies and techniques in refrigeration systems?
This field is always evolving, so they want to see you're committed to continuous learning.
Makes sense.
Mention any certifications, like the EPA Section 608 certification. It's important for handling refrigerants.
That makes sure you're working safely, right?
Exactly. And within environmental regulations, the RoleCatcher Career Guide also mentions NATE and HVAC excellence.
Are those important too?
Those are excellent to have. NATE, or North American Technician Excellence, is a big certification program that tests your knowledge in a bunch of HVACR specialties. And HVAC Excellence, they offer a range of certifications, from installation to service and repair.
Showing employers you're serious.
That you're dedicated to high-quality work. Don't forget other ways to stay current, too.
Yeah.
Mentioning conferences, workshops, reading trade publications, or participating in online forums.
It's all about actively looking for new knowledge, keeping up with trends.
Right. And the Career Guide mentions some exciting advancements.
Oh, like what?
Well, there's a growing focus on those environmentally friendly refrigerants and energy-efficient systems. Technicians need to know about variable speed compressors and smart thermostats.
It's not just fixing what's broken, it's optimizing for performance and sustainability.
Exactly. That's what makes it exciting. You're not just a technician, you're a problem solver, an innovator, contributing to a more sustainable future.
I'm inspired. Okay, back to questions. This one's big. How do you ensure the safety of yourself and others when working with refrigeration systems?
Safety first, always.
Obviously.
This is about showing you're truly committed to safety. Discuss your knowledge of safety protocols, things like PPE, lockout-tagout procedures, and handling refrigerants responsibly.
So I need to show them I take safety seriously.
Absolutely. And be ready for the follow-up. Have you ever encountered a safety hazard on the job? How did you handle it?
Ah, I see.
Have a good story ready that shows quick thinking and problem solving in a safety situation.
A chance to show I keep a cool head, literally.
Literally.
All right, next up, something that can be tricky, customer service. How do you handle difficult customers or situations when working on refrigeration systems?
Ah, yes. Technical expertise is important, but so is interacting with people, especially when they're stressed.
Because you're not just fixing a machine.
Right, you're providing a service.
Yep.
Emphasize staying calm, listening, and clearly explaining technical issues to, well, non-technical people.
Showing empathy.
Yes, and your commitment to finding a solution. You're a problem solver for the system and the customer.
Got it. And I bet the follow-up is something like, give me an example of a time you resolved a conflict with a customer.
Be ready with a story, one that shows turning a negative experience into a positive one.
These follow-up questions are so helpful. Okay, how do you prioritize your workload when working on multiple refrigeration systems? Feels like they want someone organized, efficient.
Which is crucial. You'll often be juggling projects, so good time management is essential. Describe your system for staying organized.
Maybe a scheduling app or to-do lists.
Exactly. And think about when everything seems urgent.
They might ask, how do you handle a situation where multiple systems require immediate attention?
That's to see your decision-making under pressure. Explain how you triage tasks, considering things like safety risks, potential downtime, customer impact.
So stay calm, assess, and make informed decisions.
Exactly. Now, this one tests your adaptability. How do you handle unexpected challenges or problems when working on a refrigeration system?
Oh, because things don't always go as planned.
Right. They want to see you're resourceful, a problem solver, share a story about an unforeseen issue on the job, walk them through your thinking, how you diagnosed it, and found a solution.
Showing off those problem-solving skills. And I bet they'll ask, what's the most important lesson you learned from a challenging experience on the job?
There you go. It's about learning from mistakes. Choose a time where you overcame a challenge, but also learned something that made you a better technician.
Got it. Prepare for the question and the follow-up. How do you ensure that refrigeration systems are energy efficient and environmentally friendly?
Sustainability is a big focus. Your answer should show your understanding of energy-efficient technologies and your commitment to those practices.
Like what?
Talk about using energy-efficient components like variable speed compressors, high-efficiency motors. Mention the importance of proper system sizing and design, and your knowledge of refrigerant handling and disposal.
That's a lot.
It is. And for bonus points, be ready for what are some ways you can improve the energy efficiency of an existing refrigeration system.
Wow. So knowing energy efficiency is crucial.
It's not just about fixing things anymore. It's about being good to the planet.
This is great. How do you work collaboratively with other technicians, contractors, and clients when working on refrigeration systems? Teamwork, right?
Teamwork makes the dream work. Highlight communication skills, listening to different perspectives, sharing knowledge, and learning from others.
Not just a good technician, but a good team player.
Exactly. And be prepared for describe a successful collaboration you were part of on a refrigeration project, a story where you worked well with others to reach a goal.
This advice is gold. Finally, question 10. What do you consider to be the most important skills or qualities for a refrigeration, air condition, and heat pump technician?
This is your highlight reel. Showcase what makes you a top candidate. Of course, technical expertise is key, but also problem solving, attention to detail, commitment to safety, customer service skills, and working independently and see as part of a team.
So like all my strengths. What if they say, how have you demonstrated these skills in your previous roles?
Back it up with real examples. Use that STAR method we talked about earlier to structure your answers.
Okay, I feel like I can handle anything.
That's the spirit.
We've covered all 10 sample questions and those follow-up questions, which is great. But how can I tailor my answers to fit the specific job I'm applying for?
That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. It's like your secret weapon. It can analyze the job description and give you feedback, making sure you hit those keywords and highlight the right skills.
Wow, so it's not just general answers, it's making them fit the specific company.
Exactly. And it goes further. RoleCatcher gives feedback on your delivery, too. You can practice with video and get insights on your eye contact, your expressions, your pace.
Like a virtual mock interview coach.
Exactly.
This has been a whirlwind of interview prep, but I'm feeling much more confident now.
That's the goal.
I'm starting to think I can really do this.
You absolutely can. And don't forget about your career path. RoleCatcher's Career Guide can help with that too.
Oh, right. It's like a roadmap to success. It even talks about things like moving up to lead technicians.
Or even management roles.
And it stresses the importance of always learning through certifications, workshops, or just staying curious about new technologies.
Exactly.
So this guide isn't just for beginners.
Not at all. It's for anyone looking to level up in the HVACR world.
Speaking of leveling up, let's go back to those certifications. The career guide mentions a bunch. EPA Section 608, NATE, RSES, HVAC Excellence, ESCO. How do I know which ones are important?
Well, each one has its own focus. Like the EPA Section 608, we talked about that. It's mandatory for handling refrigerants.
So everyone needs that one?
Pretty much. NATE certification is a broader one, covering lots of HVACR knowledge and skills.
So it's more for as you move up.
Yeah, it's very respected, gives you an edge in the job market.
Okay. And then there's RSES.
That focuses on refrigeration service and repair. HVAC Excellence has different specialties within HVACR, and ESCO is all about energy efficiency.
Wow, so many options.
There is. The good thing is you can keep learning and growing throughout your career, getting certifications that match your goals.
Like they boost your credibility, indeed open doors.
Exactly. The RoleCatcher Career Guide does a great job explaining all the certifications and how they help your career.
We cover those 10 interview questions, but there are probably tons of other questions out there. How do you prepare for the unexpected ones?
RoleCatcher's got you covered. They have a huge database of interview questions, over 120,000.
120,000.
It's like a never-ending supply of prep material. You can find questions for your specific field, your experience, even the type of company.
And save your favorites.
Yeah, organize them into practice sets, track your progress. It's amazing.
That's so cool. What about the AI feedback? How does that actually work?
Think of it as your personal interview coach. You can type in your answers, and the AI analyzes them for things like relevance, clarity, even if you're using positive language.
So it's not just what I say, but how I say it.
Exactly. The AI can tell you if your answers could be better, more impactful. It can even suggest different words to make them stronger.
That's awesome. Like an editor for my answers.
I know, right? And you can use it as many times as you want until you feel good about your answers.
Okay, we've talked about specific questions, but what about the bigger picture? How do I figure out where I want to go in this field?
Well, RoleCatcher has a feature called Career Pathing. It shows you the typical responsibilities and example profiles for each stage of your career.
From entry level all the way to management.
Yep. It helps you set goals, figure out what skills you need, and plan for growth.
Especially for someone just starting, that's huge. It can feel overwhelming to think long term.
I agree. This makes it more manageable. Plus, you can tailor your interview answers to match the career stage you're aiming for.
Oh, right. So if I want to be a lead technician, I should talk about my leadership skills.
Exactly. And if you want a management role, focus on problem solving, strategy, managing projects and teams.
It's all about using RoleCatcher to not just prep for the interview, but to really shape your career.
Exactly. It's a fantastic resource for anyone in HVACR, no matter where they are in their career.
Okay, before we move on to some other interview tips, let's recap what we've learned from the RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Sure. So we know being a refrigeration, air condition, and heat pump technician means you need technical skills, problem solving, and customer service skills.
And those certifications are super important to show your knowledge and open up opportunities.
Continuous learning is key, too, to keep up with new things and to move up in your career.
We went through those 10 sample interview questions and how to answer them well.
And don't forget RoleCatcher's AI tools. They can help you tailor your answers, practice your delivery, and really shine in your interview.
This has been so helpful. Now let's switch gears and talk about some more advanced techniques to help you stand out in your interview.
I'm ready when you are.
One thing that's been really helpful for me is the STAR method. It's for answering those behavioral questions. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah. The STAR method is a classic. It helps you structure your answers when they ask about how you handled things in the past.
It's so easy to ramble when you're nervous, but the STAR method helps you stay focused.
Definitely. So for anyone who doesn't know, STAR stand for Situation, Task, Action, and Result.
Okay, break that down for me.
So first, you describe the situation you were in. Could be a tough project, a difficult customer, anything relevant.
Then what?
Then you explain the task you had. What were you supposed to do? What were your goals?
Then the action you took.
Exactly. What steps did you take to get things done? Be specific here. Let them see how you think and solve problems.
And finally, the result.
Right. What happened? Did you reach your goals? What did you learn? Did you go above and beyond?
The STAR method is simple but powerful. It helps you avoid rambling and really highlights your skills and wins in a way that's easy to understand.
It's a must-have for any behavioral interview. Now let's talk about researching the company.
Okay.
Researching the company shows you're really interested and that you've taken the time to learn about them. It helps you tailor your answers too.
So it's about showing up prepared and informed. But where do I even start? There's so much information out there.
The company website is a good place. Look for their mission, what they sell or do, recent news, leadership team, and company culture.
What about social media?
Yeah, social media is great for getting a feel for their personality, how they talk to customers. Don't forget about industry websites and publications.
You can tell me where the company stands in the industry.
Right, and about their competitors and what trends are happening. All of this helps you ask smart questions during the interview.
Makes sense. What about researching the interviewer themselves?
If you know who you're meeting with, look them up on LinkedIn.
What am I looking for? Don't want to be creepy.
Just their professional background, what they're good at, if you have any connections in common, what they've written or posted, maybe even their hobbies.
So it's about finding common ground.
Yeah, to build a connection. It shows you're interested in them as a person.
Okay, that makes sense. What about researching the job itself?
A lot of people forget this, but look at the job description carefully. What skills are they looking for? What are the responsibilities?
And then I can think about how my experience matches up with what they want.
Exactly. And you can use RoleCatcher's AI to analyze the job description, too.
Really?
Yeah, it picks out the important keywords and skills so you know what the hiring manager is really looking for.
That's like a cheat code. Okay, we talked about research. Now what about practicing my answers? I know it's boring, but why is it important?
Well, first, it helps you get used to talking about yourself and your skills.
So it's not just knowing it in my head, it's saying it out loud.
Yeah, like rehearsing for a play. You'll feel more confident the more you practice. It also helps you catch where you might stumble so you can smooth things out.
And make sure my answers are clear and fit the job.
Exactly. You can do mock interviews with a friend or family member or practice in front of a mirror to check your body language.
And use RoleCatcher's AI, right?
Yep, for feedback on your answers and how you look on camera.
The more you practice, the more confident you'll be on the big day.
Confidence is key. Now let's talk about asking questions at the end of the interview.
A lot of people get nervous about that.
It's actually really important. It shows you're curious and engaged.
It shows I'm thinking about the job, not just waiting for it to be over.
Exactly. It's also how you get information to decide if this job is right for you.
It's not just about them liking me.
Right, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So ask about things like the company culture, what their plans are for the future, the team, the opportunities for growth. Anything you're curious about.
I should have some questions ready beforehand, but it's okay to ask follow-up questions too.
Of course, it shows you're listening. Okay, we've covered research, practicing, and acting questions. Anything else to keep in mind? Yeah, let's talk about how to make a great impression from the moment you walk in.
First impressions are important.
They are. So be on time, plan your route, allow extra time, and get there a few minutes early.
Shows respect for their time.
And professionalism. It also gives you a chance to relax and get ready. Speaking of first impressions, what about what you wear?
Yeah, what's the dress code for this kind of interview?
Even if the company is casual, dress up a bit. A nice outfit shows you care.
So, no jeans and a t-shirt.
Probably not. Think business casual. A button-down shirt, dress pants, maybe a blazer.
And make sure my shoes are clean.
Right. Exactly. Pay attention to the details. It all adds up.
Okay, so I'm on time, dressed well. What about during the interview?
Eye contact is key. Smile, be enthusiastic, show them you really want to be there.
I can do that.
Speak clearly and confidently, don't rush, and try not to say, or like, too much.
And listen.
Yes. Pay attention to the questions, think before you answer, and ask for clarification if you need it. Most importantly, be yourself.
Don't try to be someone I'm not.
Right. They want to see the real you and if you'd fit in with their team. So relax, be yourself, and let your passion show.
I love that. Okay, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Any last words of wisdom?
Just one more thing. Follow up after the interview.
Oh, yeah. How do I do that without seeming pushy?
Send a quick thank you email within 24 hours. Thank them for their time and say you're still interested. Maybe mention something specific you talked about that you liked.
So it keeps me on their mind.
Exactly. A little thank you can go a long way.
Okay, I think we've covered it all. I feel so much more prepared for my refrigeration, air condition, and heat pump technician interview now. But before we go, I want to talk about certifications again.
Sure, what about them?
The career guide mentioned EPA Section 608, NATE, RSES, HVAC Excellence, and ESCO. Why are they so important?
Certifications show employers you know your stuff. They prove you're an expert.
And that I follow the best practices.
Exactly. It shows you're up to date on everything. Plus, they can help you get better jobs and earn more money.
So they're not just a piece of paper, they're an investment.
Absolutely. They make you stand out, especially when there's a lot of competition. And you can always keep learning and getting more certifications as you go.
It's a journey, not a destination.
I like that. That's what makes this career so great. You can keep learning and growing and be a part of an industry that's always changing.
This has been so motivating. I'm not just ready for my interview, I'm excited about this whole career path now.
That's great to hear. You have what it takes to be successful. Now go out there and make a difference, one cool and comfortable space at a time.
Okay, so we've pretty much covered everything for acing that refrigeration, air condition, and heat pump technician interview. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
I always like a good takeaway. What do you have in mind?
Think about all those times you really went the extra mile, to solve a tough problem or to make a customer happy.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Like maybe you had to get creative with limited tools, or you stayed late to get a system working again, or you took the time to explain something complicated to a client who was totally lost.
Those are the stories that really stick with people.
Exactly. They show that you're not just going through the motions. You're passionate about your work and you care about doing a good job.
It makes you more than just a name on a resume.
So as you're getting ready for your interview, write down a few of those stories. Use that STAR method we talked about. What was the situation, the task, the action, and the result?
Having those stories ready to go will make you feel more confident and help you really shine.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of refrigeration, air condition, and heat pump technician interviews.
I think we've given them a lot to think about.
I hope so. Remember, you've got the knowledge, the tools, and the strategies to succeed. Now go out there and ace those interviews.
You've got this.
And stay cool under pressure.